Murtala Muhammad International Airport was alive with movement. Porters weaving through crowds, the sharp voice of the announcer bouncing off the walls, and families huddled close, clinging to final moments. The air smelled of jollof rice from a food stall nearby, engine fumes, and that strange electric mix of excitement and anxiety. But for Ifeoma Naji, the world had slowed into a strange, dreamlike quiet. Gate 4. That's where her future waited. In her hand, damp from her tight grip, was a one-way ticket to Florence, Italy. A full scholarship to study fine art at one of Europe's most prestigious academies. It wasn't just a dream, it was the dream. The kind she'd spoken into the silence of her small room in Ajagunal, when the roof leaked during rainy season, when PHCN struck again and candles became companions, when her fingers ached from painting on cardboard she salvaged from the market stalls. She remembered those nights clearly, how her brush danced on uneven surfaces, how she would hum old highlife songs as she worked. How, despite the chaos around her, the act of painting transported her somewhere peaceful, somewhere hopeful. She almost didn't apply. The scholarship was global, highly competitive, seemingly unreachable. People like me don't get things like this, she'd told herself more than once. Her hands had hovered over the application form for days. But Kemi, her best friend since primary school, wouldn't let her back down. Apply Jor, Kemi had insisted, practically throwing the link at her one morning. This might be the chance of a lifetime. And who says you don't deserve it? I don't know. What if they laugh? Ifeoma had replied, staring at the screen. Kemi had pulled up a chair beside her. Let them laugh. Then you'll go to Italy and paint their shame into history. Now here she was, passport in hand, heart in her throat, standing at the doorway of everything she'd ever dared to want. The same hands that once held brushes now clutched a future. And yet she hesitated. She thought of her mother, back in their compound, selling akra in the mornings and sewing late into the night to pay school fees. Her mother's hands were always busy, always giving. She thought of her father's quiet pride, how he'd saved the newspaper clipping that featured her local exhibition and tucked it inside his Bible. She thought of the stack of old canvases by her bedside, portraits of fishmongers, Danfo drivers, children hawking gala. Faces of people who would never be known, painted in colors no one had taught her to mix. They were her Lagos. Her story. What if she wasn't enough? What if she got there and realized she was out of place? The boarding call echoed. Group 3. Her fingers clenched tighter around the pass. Nearby, a small girl in bright Ankara looked at Ifeoma's paint-stained backpack, covered in stickers of African masks and Van Gogh quotes. Mummy, she looks like one of those real artists on YouTube, she said in Yoruba. The mother smiled, glancing at Ifeoma. Ifeoma returned the smile, heart warmed by the innocent praise. She let out a quiet laugh. She was a real artist. She had always been one. This wasn't luck. It was years of stolen hours, borrowed brushes, and endless belief. She inhaled deeply, the Lagos air thick and familiar, filled with the sounds of distant horns and the hum of a city that never truly slept. Then she stepped forward, past the gate agent, her steps steady, heart pounding like a drum at a village festival. As she walked through the corridor toward the plane, the hum of the engines growing louder, Ifeoma understood something she'd only suspected before. A chance of a lifetime isn't always wrapped in glitz. Sometimes it comes dressed in fear, in struggle, in sacrifice. It comes when you step forward despite every reason to turn back. And so she did.